Hi everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I'm playing around with the folk heart dies and the brush script Love. I wanted to make a Valentine and I wanted to use more of the negative space. I always forget to use the negatives of my dies and I thought this would be a fun way to do it. So I'm going to start by taking a piece of watercolor paper that I've trimmed down to 4¼ by 5½ inches, and I'm going to anchor that down onto a clipboard with some of that Scotch painter's tape. This 3M tape is removable, but I did press it against my hand to neutralize it even more, so when I pull it up later on I don't ruin the surface of my paper. So now that this is all nicely anchored flat to the clipboard, I'm going to take some Distress stains. I love using these to create watercolor washes and just applying it directly to the paper. I started with Abandoned Coral, then came in with the Barn Door, which is a nice red. And then I decided I wanted a little bit more orangey tone. So I went over the top of that coral with the spiced marmalade. And then I'm just going to take some clean water and a flat paintbrush and start spreading that color around to create this almost ombre watercolor wash effect. I'm going to go right over the tape and just kind of push the color to the edges there. And I decided at this point I felt it needed more deep red down at the bottom. So I just grabbed my barn door red and just went over the top of that to deepen that color. I'm not even going to bother smearing it around anymore with a watercolor brush or anything. I'm just going to let it sit like that. I just blotted up any excess there that was pooling up on the tape so I don't have any weird puddles on the background there. And then I'm just going to use my heat gun to heat set it and dry it up really fast. And this is where taping it to a clipboard, when you think it ahead, it works really nicely because then I don't have to figure out how to flatten it out later on. This is going to help me eliminate any warping and I can just move on to the next step. So I'm going to use one of the folk heart dies and send this through my Big Shot to get a heart shape. And then I wanted to create the negative effect with the brush script Love. So I'm setting that so it's just a little bit offset there, and going to go outside the edges there of the heart. Sent that through and saved all the little pieces that were the insides of the Love die cut so that I can use whatever bits I need later on. I just used a piece of that Scotch Post-it tape to hang on to those for me temporarily. Now I'm also borrowing a sentiment from the Alta New stamp set called Label Love. I love that Dymo label effect, and I just needed the word you, so I went ahead and stamped it quickly with some archival jet black onto a scrap of white cardstock. And I'm just going to trim it out very quickly by hand to get that little U label effect. Now my base card is 3½ by 5 inches, and I decided this was going to be a nicer size for my card depending on how I was laying things out. Now I'm going to take some washi tape in different patterns. I started out with a little bee which has gold foil roses on it. It's such a pretty pattern of washi tape and I keep hoarding it and I tell myself I've got to use it because it's so pretty. And then I'm going to take some strips of washi tape from the Shape Tape, the black Shape Tape. I had some scrap strips left over from previous projects sitting in the packaging, and I thought, you know what, I might as well just use those strips up because they're just sitting there not being used for anything. And then when I had those the way I wanted them on the front of my card, I could go ahead and put some of those thin 3D foam squares on the back of the heart and make sure I have nice support so there's no saggage. These are by scrapbook adhesives, and I love them because they are thinner profile and you don't have quite as much height on them, because I am going to bump up the word you and make it a little bit higher there. So now I'm going to take one of those little remnants from the word love and make sure that my O looks like an O there. So that's why I saved those little bits when I first cut it out, so I can stick it in there. And it is also 3D mounted with the foam squares. And then I've got double mounting on the outer edge of the word you and one single layer on the edge that's on top of the heart so that it doesn't sag anywhere. So it's all nice and level all the way across and bumped up. Took some gold stickles, added a little bit of droplets there to create some embellishment, and the card is finished. I really love how it turned out. It's super fun, super fast and easy. All the supplies are available at ellenhutson.com. You can see more still shots at the Classroom blog, and thanks for watching.